Well, turning a campaign promise into a legislative reality, Baltimore City State's Attorney Ivan Bates calling on the General Assembly to pass a bill that he says will deter violent crime by targeting illegal guns. Now, his legislation extends jail time from 3 to 5 years for anyone convicted of illegal handgun possession, regardless of age, and the proposal is gaining some lawmaker support in Annapolis. Join us now is City State's Attorney. Good to see you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you as well.
It is fascinating. I heard a press conference that you did before. He said some guys at some point would get that 3 years time. I guess that's if you're 21 and over, but they'd end up only spending 8 months behind bars.
Yes.
That ain't much of a deterrent, I don't think.
No, it's not. We have the Justice Reinvestment Act from 2016 that said if it's a misdemeanor, you only do 25% of the time, which is 8 months. So for us, we need to have the deterrent. Another tool in our toolbox to make sure we can fight crime for the citizens of Baltimore City.
You're a defense attorney. Do you think guys knew that going in? That if that's what I'm going to get, then fine, give me the 8 months.
Oh, without a doubt they knew it. And they would tell me all the time, hey, Bates, I'll just go ahead and take 3 years. That way I'm 8 months, which is time served, and I don't want to deal with probation. So they're on parole.
When you hear from people who think that this is a bad idea, they think that maybe you should just stick to the way things are. What is their argument? What sticks to it?
Well, they want to talk about mass incarceration, but they don't live in the communities. I understand what's going on in the community. I knocked 15,000 doors. You know, they're saying enough is enough, and we have to hold individuals accountable. Remember, these are their children that they're saying need to also be held accountable. The noise that we're getting from the outside, they don't live in the city, they don't understand the city, and they really, I don't think they care about the city.
Yeah, if you go to a community meeting, I think you'll hear from a lot of people just say there are too many guns on the street, period.
Yes.
What can even be done? Because I feel like we've thrown so many things at the same problem. What changes or what needs to be changed?
Well, one, we have to have the deterrent, but we also have to have the wraparound services. So I'm not saying we don't do it. For 8 years, we've only talked about wraparound services, wraparound services. Yeah. Why don't we also talk about the deterrent factor as well? We can go ahead and give the wraparound service a deterrent. Remember, my bill also that I talk about is 3 years after you've been convicted, after you've done your jail time, no new convictions, you're doing what you're supposed to on parole and probation, and we're going to bring you back, give you a PBJ, and help you expunge that conviction. That's how we go ahead and make changes in people's lives, but they have to earn it.
There's a group of people I think that need to be spoken to a lot right now. We heard from Harrison, the police commissioner, saying that juvenile crime right now and youth arrests are through the roof. He said if there's a problem, then that's the problem right there. Yes. Where are we missing the deterrent message for the young folks right now, under 21?
Well, there is no deterrent message whatsoever for young people, to be honest. We have to look at the law. We have to look at the number of changes that have happened in the law. It's more difficult to hold the young people accountable. And, you know, now they want to try to pass a law that talks about, you know, having their cases start out in juvenile crime in the system. Yeah. We have to really give the wraparound services. We have to understand how we can all work together to make sure with the young people, the wraparound services are so intensive, that they're so in depth, that they're there at every single step of the way so that we know what they're doing and monitor in a way that we don't have the opportunity to do right now.
For folks who don't understand wraparound services, it's sort of like when the mayor is talking about having a holistic approach to crime. Is that about, are we on the same language?
Well, it is, but we also have to make sure that, you know, not just a holistic, but are they going to school? What's happening in school? Where you're monitoring them in such a way that every movement that they make, that we know what's going on. That we're also giving them the mental health services they need. That we're also looking at their living condition as well. Also making sure that we're not allowing juveniles to be part of juvenile gangs. And so it's all of those services from the police, from the state's attorney's office, from the wraparound agencies, you know, agencies such as ROCA we have to look at. Because ROCA is an agency, a group that does a lot with young people as well, making sure that everybody does their part with young people.
ROCA was on national TV recently. It was actually this Sunday, and they talked about young guys who want those services. And I think that's a misperception. Some people think that they don't. As you run into people on the street now, do you find that some of these young guys just want direction?
They really do. And what you find with young people do want direction. They do want discipline when you look at them. Last week I had the opportunity of bumping a bunch of young people who were part of the mayor's program of Muncie, who were squeegee workers. They were so excited to be able to work during the CIAA event that they were going to make some money legally, and they were excited about what was going on and having an opportunity. One young man said, Mr. Bates, I saw you join the military. I plan to join the military as well.
Man, all right, I'll give you 30 seconds, which is going to be impossible. But tell me, what will we notice in the change in your office You got a chance now to push in the chair and rearrange all the books. What will be different right
Well, we're
now?
looking at the infrastructure. We're trying to make sure we hire prosecutors, want to retain prosecutors. We're going out and trying to get money to bring services in and the material that we need so we can have our prosecutors do the job. What you're having is a change in culture and with the change of leadership. At the end of the day, we recognize we serve the citizens of Baltimore City. We're trying to do it in an efficient, effective manner, but we need all the tools in the toolbox, from the money, from the governor's office, from Monzi, from the mayor's office, and hopefully with our federal partners as well.